Hey guys and gals, Never here from Drake Queen Gaming and Somebody Mounds. What are the Gaming Jag? Today I'm coming back at you with a Let's Play episode of Violet Memoir, Lucas's Path. So yeah, let's go ahead and jump right back into it, shall we? Alarm Janie, we're up and let's go. Don't make it sound so bad. You're welcome to sleep with me anytime. Thank you. He returns his focus to the book in front of him, though from the way his eyes keep shifting to meet mine, I have a feeling he's more than a little distracted. That is my cue to do something else. I grab my stuff to go take a shower, noticing the diary sitting next to my bed. It's like it's always waiting for me to pick it up again. I know it's silly to personify it like that, but it truly feels like it's just sitting there in anticipation, just waiting for me to finally take the bait. I'm almost tempted to grab it now, but I made a promise to Lee to take a break, at least for tonight, so I settle in, looking forward to bundling up against my fox once more. My fox. I'm startled by the sound of an unfamiliar bell ringing in my ears, nearly forced out of my seat as the noise echoes throughout the room. It's blindingly loud, forcing me to cover my ears in the hopes I can block it out, but it doesn't make much of a difference. It pierces through my weak defenses like they're not even there, and it feels like it's going to burst my eardrums. Then, it stops without any warning or build-up. It simply ends, and I'm left to the realization that I'm not where I should be, though in a way, I'm not too surprised at where I am. In that old, abandoned classroom, decayed with age, that's been haunting my dreams as of late. A grim reminder from the mind of someone that isn't me. What is surprising is that I seem to have full autonomy of my body. Lately, it feels more lucid than it has been before. The previous dreams I've had felt like I've been an autopilot, simply watching a movie play out with my body as the lead actor. But when I try to lift my hand to my ears like I just done moments ago, it happens with no problems. I'm fully in control of my own body, and that only makes the sinking feeling of dread that's been building only increase further. Because if I do have full control, does that mean I'm actually here this time, or am I still just simply dreaming? I take a moment to try and wake myself up, even tugging at my fur to jolt myself with pain, but nothing happens other than a sore patch of skin. I can only hope this is just a really realistic and stimulating dream. The alternative is too awful to consider. Looking around, the classroom doesn't look any better or worse than before. It looks undisturbed, like a time capsule from someone else's life. That distant familiarity is still there, but it's further away this time. Maybe it's because I feel more like me. Making an effort to not get tangled up in the mayhem of the room, I manage to make my way over to the door. After making sure there isn't anything new or significant, I slide open the exit. I've barely got the door open before a burst of movement catches my eye. I'm not able to get a good look at what it is, but I can see that whatever it is, it's small and fast before it zips around the corner. The only way I can describe it is a white blur, though some distant tapping makes me think that it must have been a person, though that begs a new, more daunting question. Does that mean that someone else is stuck in here with me? Is this just like the hospital again? But that didn't look like anyone I know. They were way too small. They'd probably only come up to my hip, if I had to take a guess. If that is someone else, they're definitely a kid. Following after them, I turn the corner, hoping to see sight of them, but all I find is another empty hallway. I try to find any signs of disturbance, but it just looks as untouched as the rest of what I've seen. For a second, I wonder if I've just been seeing things, but I'm almost certain I saw something, and those footsteps definitely lead this way. There doesn't look to be any trail left behind, so I have to just continue on. Numerous hallways later, I'm still unable to find an exit, but with one final turn, I'm able to see a tiny figure in the distance. I'm not able to get a good look at them, but before they bolt around the corner, but that only confirms to me one thing. There's definitely some kind of kid in here with me. Hey! Don't run! I'm not gonna hurt you! But the distant footsteps show no sign of slowing down. Not wanting to leave them alone in this place, I lightly jog after them. I don't want to sprint after them, it'll only scare them further. Just like last time, though, the moment I turn the corner, there doesn't seem to be any sign of them anywhere. Not wanting to create more of a gap, I pick up speed and turn down the next corner. There's no other way for the kid to have gone. They have to have been around this corner. Except they aren't. There's nothing but a dead end and a closed door that looks like it leads into a classroom. I'm about to check out the room when I notice something wedged into one of the lockers on the side. A very familiar piece of paper. One that I'd notice anywhere by now. No way. How did you... I look around, trying once again to find the kid that seems to have led me here. Had they been intentionally trying to help me find the page, or was this just a coincidence? But I still can't find anyone. Walking up to the locker, a familiar sinking feeling washes over me. I try to remember the previous dream I had last time, but it's so foggy and I can't remember any details. I just remember waking up in the school, wandering around, and then a sharp, piercing fear that woke me up, but why was I afraid, and why does looking at this locker remind me of it so much? The locker itself doesn't feel familiar. There's distinct marks scratched into it that don't spark any memory. Maybe it was something to do with another locker. Ignoring the warning alarms in my head, I grab the piece of paper and it's just as I thought. It's a page from Helena's diary. Not wanting to waste any time, I open the page to give it a read. Who knows how long this dream might last? There's something different about this piece of paper. There doesn't look to be the amount of words that Helena usually writes on it, but there's plenty of ink scribbled around the page. The page reeks of uncertainty, as if someone couldn't figure out what to write and just let their pen linger on the page. False starts look to be littering the page, though none of them manage to get through a single word before they're scribbled out. By the time I'm halfway through the page, there hasn't been a legible word. Mom. A bunch more scribbled out words. I'm trying to be strong for you right now because I want to be there. I want there to be a point where you can read this and be happy with how far we've come. But it's really hard to write now because there's only a few lines left on the page, but I'm interrupted by a chilling sound that both sounds familiar but different. Giggling echoes through the halls behind me, and a wave of memory flushes through me. I remember hearing this laughter before during these dreams, but there's something different about them now. Before they sounded like they came from children, and while that's creepy, it pales in comparison to what they sound like now. They don't sound like children anymore, they sound older. Not just older, but there's something clearly wrong with it. It's almost like the sound is distorted and there's something thrumming underneath the sound, like an awful buzzing in my ears. Then comes the footsteps. So many of them. A group of something is coming in my direction. From the booming thumps, they aren't normal people. My body is frozen in fear as I can only watch behind me. It's not until the sound of something smashing into a locker that I'm jolted back into control. It's not just smashing, too. It sounds like something ripping into it. Moving back, it's not long until I back into the wall. Fear pulses through me as I remember exactly where I am. I'm at a dead end, and the only way back is heading in the direction of the voices. There's no choice. I have to hide. I consider hiding in one of the lockers, but just looking at them makes me want to throw up now. Their appearance alongside the distant giggling is enough to cause that small warning in my head to become a loud siren. Something tells me hiding in there will only lead to bad things. That only leaves one other option. Hiding in the classroom. I just have to hope that it's unlocked. For what feels like my first stroke of luck in a long time, it opens and I rush into the room, taking care to close the door behind me and lock it, counting my blessings that there's an internal lock. Looking around the room, it looks like we're in some kind of a science lab, but there doesn't look to be any intact cabinets for me to hide in, so I have to settle for the best place I can find. I take cover under one of the large tables, trying my best to hide from sight while still being able to keep my eye on the door. The noises finally reach the door, and then everything goes quiet. The only sounds I can hear is my own breathing and the sound of my heartbeat. A minute passes in total silence, and I wonder if they've left, but I don't want to take my chances. I'll stay under here for an hour if that's what it takes. Something slams into the door, the frame rattling against whatever is thrown against it. All I can do is watch as my only barrier between whatever is coming and me is rotting wood and a rusted lock. The slamming only grows in intensity as the seconds roll over. I creep further to the other side of the room until a crashing sound behind me nearly causes me to scream. A window behind me that I hadn't even noticed was there is being attacked as well. It confirms it. There's multiple in that group and they know I'm in here. They're trying to get to me. All I can do is curl up behind the table and hope they leave, but the crashing grows louder and I can hear the door splintering. It only feels inevitable. Tears well in my eyes and my heart feels like it stops. Water time. Alright, guys and gals, and we are back. Let's go ahead and jump back in, shall we? Okay. And the door breaks off its hinges, flying open, and... You should wake up, Savior. That's weird. Something wraps around my body, and I feel myself trying to break free of whatever is gripping me. Did another one of them sneak into the room behind me? How did they get to me without me noticing? I continue to thrash before I notice there's someone talking to me, and it's not one of the thrumming voices. It's someone I know I can trust. What's wrong? Are you okay? Pushing my eyes open, I feel a wave of relief flow through me as that wonderful sunlight illuminates the room. Looking around, I can see that I'm back in my own bed. Though the blankets and sheets have been thrown entirely off. Let me lower this music down, just in case it's copyrighted. Alright. I'm entirely covered in sweat. My fur looks damp and clings to me, but that isn't the only thing clinging to me. I can see that Lucas is wrapped around me like he's trying to envelop me in a giant hug. You've stopped fighting. Is everything okay? You're gonna pass out if you keep breathing like that. My therapist always warned me about it. I didn't even realize that I'd been breathing so heavily. I try to calm myself down, but it's a slow process. My heart is still thundering in my chest, so I try to focus on the feeling of Lucas pressed against me. His wonderfully soft fur, that warmth that never quite feels like too much, and just how perfect he feels slotted against me. Before long, I can feel everything returning to normal. He doesn't pull away, though. We just stay lying together until I can piece together all my thoughts. After all, what had just happened? I know it was a nightmare, but it felt different than the others. It felt like the hospital. Are you okay? Huh? Oh, sorry. You must have been worried. What happened? We were sleeping and then you started having a nightmare. It must have been really bad because you kept whimpering in your sleep and then you started flailing your arms. You're gonna hurt yourself, so I had to wake you up. I hope that you're not upset. Why would I be upset? Thank you, really. It was an awful dream and probably would have been a lot worse without you. I pressed my nose into the top of his head. He hesitates for a moment before reciprocating, dragging his own muzzle against my neck. Before long, the two of us are running our hands along each other's bodies and our lips are pressed together. Lucas hungrily scouts every inch of my mouth for what feels like a heavenly eternity before he pulls away. I'm worried he's going to freak out again like the other times we've done that, but he just looks out of breath and with desire clouding his eyes. We're about to go in for more when his phone buzzes loudly. He bristles and growls in its direction like an animal before diving back onto me. He shoves his body against mine as he devours my mouth again. By the time he pulls away this time, I feel more worked up than I've ever felt in my life. I think he's going to continue, but his phone buzzes just as loud as the first time. I can hear him growling again, but this time he grabs it. Opening it up, he lets out a sigh before crumbling against me. Whoa, that was... wow. I really needed that. Sounds like you needed more than that, honestly. I want it. You have no idea. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and pause it right there, y'all. Thank y'all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, ring that notification bell, and check out our Patreon or YouTube memberships if you can. It always helps. Anyway, I love you all, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye-bye!